I found out I was pregnant in the back of a Walgreens bathroom. Classy, right? The light above the mirror was flickering, the kind of flicker that made the walls look like they were breathing. I remember gripping the edge of the sink, waiting for the second pink line to show, and when it did, I didn't cry. I just whispered, "Okay," like I had just remembered I left the stove on. I didn't expect fireworks or swelling violins, but I did expect something. Warmth, maybe. A call home that didn't start with disclaimers. I waited 3 days before telling anyone. Then I texted Zadie, my older sister. Something light. "Guess I'll be eating for two." She replied 7 hours later. "That's a lot to process. Maybe start journaling?" Journaling. I stared at the message for a long time, then typed, "Thanks. Might do that." I didn't send it. Instead, I told myself what I always do. Zadie needs time. She's always been the calculated one. She doesn't speak until she's sure no one will correct her. But Mom would come through. 3 days later, a package showed up at my door. No return label, but I knew the handwriting on the shipping slip. Inside, a light pink pillow wrapped in its original plastic. I didn't have to pull it out to know what it was. It was the same nursing pillow Zadie had used when she had Logan. No card, no note, just a text. "You might need this." It was helpful for Zadie. That was it. I sat on the edge of my bed and held the pillow, still wrapped, like it would start speaking if I just gave it time. It didn't, and I didn't open it. I just kept it on the bed. An offering, a reminder, a relic from a love I wasn't sure I'd earned. That night, I called her. Not for anything specific, just to hear something. Her voice, maybe. Something soft, familiar. She didn't answer, but she did text me back. A link. TED Talk. Title: How Struggle Builds Character. I pressed play. The speaker was smiling, big teeth, big eyes, talking about resilience and grit. I watched 3 minutes before pausing. I remember thinking, this feels like being handed a fire extinguisher when you're already on fire. They give you tools but no hands. They give you theories but no arms to hold you. And maybe that's what my mother thinks love is. Less about showing up, more about watching you survive from the sidelines. Maybe she thinks I need to earn her attention. Maybe pain is the toll. The next morning, I thought about something I hadn't in years. Back in 7th grade, I twisted my ankle during gym. The nurse iced it, but it still looked like a grapefruit. Mom picked me up, looked at it once, and said, "You're fine. Walk it off. Life won't wait." I did walk it off. I limped through the week. Didn't even go to the doctor. And now, 20 years later, I was wondering if love was ever supposed to be tested like that. If pain tolerance was her version of a trust fall, I looked at my stomach, still flat, but full. I put my hand over it and whispered, "I won't teach you that. I won't let you think love hurts first and holds second." That night, I sat in bed. The room was dim. The TED Talk still paused at the 3-minute mark. The pillow still in plastic beside me like a ghost of intention. I opened the Notes app on my phone, typed a sentence. "Pain doesn't build grit. Abandonment does." I stared at it, then deleted it. I used to think silence meant peace. Now I wonder if it's just early training for solitude. The pillow was still there, still in plastic. I hadn't moved it since that night. I'd slept around it, worked around it, even changed my sheets with it on the bed. It became part of the furniture, like disappointment you just learn to live with. On Monday, I called Mom. Told her I'd been thinking about stopping by for lunch. I kept my voice soft, casual. Said I'd bring food. She said, "We're redoing the kitchen. Dust everywhere. Not a good time." I could hear plates clinking and voices in the background. Laughter, actually, not construction. I said, "Of course. Another time." She didn't offer one. I hung up, sat on the couch, and pulled up my health insurance app. I needed to make sure the OB/GYN billing had gone through. Instead, it showed a red banner. Inactive. Coverage canceled. No alerts, no emails, nothing. I stared at the screen until my hands felt cold. She had access to that account. Last year, when they were close to losing the house, I bailed them out. Ask quietly, no lectures, no conditions. I added myself to their insurance as part of it. Family coverage, Mom called it. Said it made things easier, said it was symbolic, said it meant I was included. I guess the symbolism expired. I called the provider, asked what happened. The woman on the line sounded uncomfortable, like she was trying to sound detached, but it came out like pity. Your removal was processed by Elma Rowe. Reason noted, non-essential dependent. I didn't argue, didn't ask for reversal, just whispered, dependent, huh? Only when they need my credit score, and ended the call. That night, Zadie sent a photo to the family group chat. Logan had won some middle school science fair, a volcano made out of clay and red food coloring. Mom replied, "Our little genius," with 6 exclamation marks. I stared at the photo longer than I should have. Then, maybe out of sheer longing, I typed, "I have my ultrasound next week. Hope to share soon." 10 minutes passed. Nothing. Then, a message from Mom popped up. But it wasn't for me. It was meant for Zadie. She's always looking for drama. Let's not reward it this time. I blinked. Seconds later, the message vanished, deleted, but not before I screenshotted it. Dated, logged, saved. I didn't reply, didn't ask why. I just held the phone and stared until the screen dimmed. Nobody addressed it, not one person. Zadie posted another photo. Logan holding his ribbon. Dad sent a thumbs up. Mom dropped a Bible verse about patience and perseverance. I typed a single dot, just one, then deleted it. Felt childish, felt stupid. If I had been any more invisible, I remember thinking, they would have walked right through me. They didn't forget me, that's what I finally understood. They erased me, in real time. Later that week, I found myself sitting in the living room holding my ultrasound appointment card like it was a wedding invitation no one had RSVP'd to. I crumpled it, uncrumpled it, flattened it against my knee. I didn't call anyone, didn't text, didn't explain. Instead, I opened my banking app and started cleaning house. Unlinked every shared account. Removed every access name. The pillow was still on the bed. Untouched. If they don't want to be part of the waiting, I said to myself, they won't be part of the arrival. It was mid-morning when I opened Instagram. The sun hadn't even warmed the floor tiles in my kitchen yet. I was sitting on the edge of the couch, sipping lukewarm tea, rubbing my belly like it would give me answers. I wasn't looking for anything, really, just scrolling, just passing time. But then I saw it, posted by my cousin, Julia, a boomerang of my parents' backyard, tables with white linens, mason jars with hydrangeas, a banner floating in the breeze, celebrating the newest North family milestone. I clicked through, image after image, Mom, Dad, Zadie, Delrick, and Rhea, all dressed up. Rhea glowing in a soft yellow sundress, Zadie holding a mimosa like it was part of her wardrobe, Dad cutting into a cake that read, "First grandchild on the way, first." They meant Rhea's baby. She was 8 weeks in. I was past 10, and still, nothing. No call, no text, no, "Hey, hope you're okay." They didn't forget me. They just chose which child was worth clapping for. I clicked on one of the stories. The sound was low, but I could hear my mother giving a toast. Her voice was shaking, not from sadness, but from excitement. "We're so blessed," she said, hand over her heart. "This is what we've prayed for, a true blessing from a stable home." That word, stable, it wasn't an accident. It was an arrow. They didn't want to celebrate me. They wanted to erase me. Erase the baby growing inside me. Erase what they couldn't control. I didn't cry. I didn't throw my phone. I just watched. There was no picture of me anywhere. No mention. No empty chair at that table. I paused the video and stared at one frame longer than the rest. The family had taken a group photo in front of the fireplace. Everyone was there, even Julia's fiancé, who they'd met twice. And in the background, on the mantle, a new family portrait, framed, printed, smiling faces, except one. Mine. I wasn't in it, not cropped, not hidden, just not included. I remembered Mom asking me to skip the family weekend back in March, said the cabin was full, said it would be tight with so many people. They weren't just making space for others, they were making space without me. Later that night, I opened the Notes app on my phone and started writing. I typed out baby names, talked about how I'd picked up books from the library, mentioned that I'd felt the first kick. I ended it with, "Just thought you should know." Then I stared at it. For 12 minutes. I watched the cursor blink like it was daring me. Then I hit Select All and deleted it. No one needed a message from a ghost. What do you call a celebration where your seat never existed? You call it a rehearsal for forgetting. The next morning, I stood in my living room staring at a photo on the wall. It was old, a beach day from years ago. Everyone looked a little younger. Everyone was still pretending. I took it down, not angrily, just deliberately. Wiped the dust off the frame, opened the bottom drawer of my side table, laid it face down inside. I didn't feel lighter. I didn't feel vindicated. I felt accurate. I opened my phone, created a new contact group, named it Me Mine. If I was invisible, I might as well start acting like a ghost. I woke up sweating, not from pain, not from heat, from the kind of dream that makes you think something real happened until it didn't. In the dream, Mom was sitting beside me, braiding my hair like she used to when I was little. Her hands were slow, careful. She whispered, "I've got you, baby girl." That voice, soft like it used to be, before it turned into scripture and silence. I reached for my phone, heart racing like I'd missed something. Maybe she had called. Maybe she had shown up. One message, not a call, not a voice memo, just text. Pain is temporary. Grit is forever. Women are made for this. Timestamp, 2 hours after I texted. Contractions started. Please come. I reread it 4 times before whispering back to no one. So is abandonment. The room around me didn't care. The walls didn't echo. The IV didn't beep. And I had nothing left to reply with. The nurse came in not long after, adjusted the monitor, and left without saying much. Her face said it all, that I was alone, that I'd asked for this, probably, that I should be grateful it wasn't worse. I opened Instagram. Bad habit. The first thing that popped up was my dad. First-class lounge, champagne, leather seats. Caption, 18K well spent. Europe, here we come. One comment under it read, "So proud of the family legacy." Legacy. They spent my money to toast their freedom from me. I flipped the phone face down, let the screen go dark. I wasn't in labor anymore. I was in a rerun of every moment they'd chosen comfort over compassion. The nurse came back, checked vitals, routine. "You don't have a birthing partner?" she asked, clipboard still in hand. I smiled. "I'm just very independent." She didn't press further, just nodded and walked out. But the truth, I'd asked 3 people. One was out of town. One gave me a Bible verse. One left me on red. And Mom, she'd always told me, don't depend on anyone. Even family disappoints. They called that resilience, but sometimes resilience is just grief in a nice coat. The contractions were getting closer. I could feel my body bracing before I did. I gripped the side rail and let out a breath that didn't feel like mine. I didn't scream for them, didn't beg, didn't ask one more time. I pictured them, thousands of feet in the air, sipping champagne, checking in their luggage full of my dollars. For the first time, I didn't want them there. The push that brought my daughter into the world also pushed out the last lie I'd been nursing. They don't love me. They love the version of me that asks for less, expects less, gives more. They love the convenient daughter, not the complicated one. And I had stopped being convenient the minute I chose to keep her. After it was done, after the crying stopped and the room calmed, I stared at her. Tiny, red, alive. The nurse said, "You're stronger than most we've seen." I didn't feel strong. I felt scorched, like something had been burned out of me, not built. Later, when the room was quiet again, I picked up my phone and typed into the family chat. "She's here, healthy, 6.9 Louise. No thanks to you." I stared at it for a moment, then saved it to drafts. No send. No explanation. Next time they ask how it went, I'll answer with silence. The kind that cuts deeper than any scream. The room was too quiet. My daughter slept like the world hadn't tried to forget her already. Her breathing, steady, soft, a tiny rhythm against the hum of hospital lights. She was swaddled tight, warm, safe, at least for now. I laid there, stitched and sore, spine aching from the hours before, chest hollow from everything that came after. It was just after midnight, the kind of time where hope loses its shape. I picked up my phone again, like maybe it had changed. Maybe someone remembered. Maybe they finally said something. Anything. The family group chat was still there, just untouched. My last message. Contractions started. Please come. Still unread. No heart reaction. No, you've got this. Nothing. And for the first time, I let the thought fully bloom. Maybe I did this wrong. Maybe I wasn't supposed to expect anything at all. A new notification slid across the screen. My credit card app. A charge. $18,000. Paid to a luxury travel agency. My stomach didn't even have time to clench. I already knew. I opened my dad's social page. There it was. Photo of him at the airport bar, a cocktail in hand, first-class boarding pass sticking out of his shirt pocket. Caption. First class, first time in years. Well earned, don't wait for life, book it. My breathing changed. Not heavier, just colder. Below that, a comment from someone I didn't recognize. So proud of the family legacy. I stared at that word, legacy, like it was written in blood. I called the credit card company, gave them the info. The agent on the line confirmed, secondary user listed, Elma Rowe. Would you like to remove access? The woman asked. My voice didn't tremble. Yes, effective immediately. I didn't even bother to text them. Instead, I typed one short message to Ria, one last chance at civility. The baby's here. 6 LLBs, 9 Oz. 2 hours later, she replied, don't drag us into your mess. Hope you figure it out. That was it. I stared at the screen until the words blurred. Then I deleted the entire thread. Not archived. Deleted. Even poison looks polite in a pretty font. Sometime after that, I opened the Notes app, and for the first time in days, I let my fingers move without filtering. You stole from me. You ignored me while I bled. You didn't even pretend to care. Not for me, not for her. I didn't reread it, didn't fix punctuation. I copied it, opened the group chat, pasted. I sat there with my thumb over send. And then, I didn't. I slid left, deleted the entire thread. They don't deserve my story, not even the angry version. Across the room, the bassinet creaked softly. She stirred, let out a little coo, like a reminder that not all quiet was bad. I let out my first full breath in what felt like days, not as a defense, but as release. I glanced at the shelf, the gaobong still there, slightly tilted, words stitched across its chest. You're not alone. I whispered, that goes for both of us now. Then I opened my contacts, created a new group, only 2 names in it. Family, me plus her. No one claps for the quiet victories, but they still count. The nurse peeked her head in, again. Her eyes did that thing people do when they're trying to hide pity but failing miserably. Still no one coming to pick you up? I smiled. They're just running behind. Traffic or something. She nodded slowly, like she didn't believe a word but didn't want to make it worse. The visitor's chair near the bed was still clean. No jacket draped over the back. No purse, no empty coffee cup. Just untouched. Every time the door opened over the last 2 days, my chest had twitched. But no one ever walked in for me. No flowers, no balloons, no knock. I signed myself out early, packed slow, taped the baby's name tag to my discharge folder like it was proof someone existed, even if no one saw her come into the world. When absence gets that loud, it becomes its own kind of company. I stepped into the apartment carrying the car seat in one hand, a plastic hospital bag in the other. The door clicked behind me. My foot brushed something on the floor, a box, brown, scuffed, like it had been kicked around a few mail trucks. The return label was mine. The handwriting was hers. I had mailed it the week before. Lavender oil, a handwritten card, soft slippers, a little thank you for what I thought might be help, support, maybe even company. Sticker across the top. Return to sender. Refused. I didn't bring it to the kitchen, didn't even take my shoes off. I opened it right there in the entryway. Everything was intact, folded exactly the way I had sent it. The card, still sealed. I stared at it for a moment, then dropped the whole thing, card and all, into the trash. Some things aren't returned, they're rejected. That night, after feeding and changing her, I tried to make room in the living room, shifted the side table, cleared the clutter. I placed the small bouquet the nurse had handed me onto the shelf. Next to it, I gently set the bear, the one with the words stitched across the belly, "You're not alone." I moved a photo frame to make space and bumped the shelf. The bear toppled, face down on the floor. The flowers leaned hard to one side, petals touching carpet. I didn't pick it up. I just stared. The silence didn't feel peaceful. It felt sealed. If you drop a symbol of hope and no one's around to catch it, does it still mean anything? No one messaged me that day. No, how are you feeling? No, she's beautiful. So I got up, walked over to my laptop, and pulled up my financial dashboard. Clicked through auto pays, streaming services, gym memberships, a dental plan I wasn't even on anymore. Names of people who hadn't sent a text, who hadn't asked if I needed diapers or food or sleep. I removed each one by one. Click, remove, confirm. Then I opened a new folder, named it Proof, downloaded every confirmation, every screenshot, every bank statement that showed their names, not mine. I used to think justice was loud, but quiet justice? It's cleaner. Before bed, I opened my notes app, typed, people who sent nothing, people who promised to check in, people who still use my name to keep their phone on. No intention to send, no announcement, just accounting. I glanced back at the bear still lying on its side, didn't pick it up, but I bookmarked it. I'm not ready to forgive, but I'm almost ready to document. The email came in just after I laid her down for a nap. Subject line, thank you for your generous support. From a local women's shelter, one I'd quietly donated to under my name. I thought maybe they were confirming the receipt, but inside the body of the message, the first line read, "We're deeply grateful to Delrick Goss and family for sponsoring this year's keynote event." My fingers paused on the trackpad. Attached was a flyer from the event. At the top, a smiling photo of a suited man at a podium. Not Delrick, a guest speaker. Below that, thanks to the Goss family, your contributions empower women to rebuild from nothing. And there it was, my donation amount, my date, even the message I'd written, because rebuilding should never happen alone. But credited to him, they didn't just take my money, they stole my voice. I didn't scream, didn't call, didn't even text. Instead, I opened my email archive, found the original confirmation, time-stamped, addressed to me. Attached the receipt to a fresh folder, named it The Rewrite. No anger, no emojis, no threats. I replied to the shelter's email. Thank you for all the work you do. Could I please receive the donation logs and a copy of the event recording for tax purposes? If they were going to build a legacy with bricks I paid for, I was going to start collecting every loose one they dropped. Later that afternoon, I went to check the family group chat, just to see if anyone had noticed I was still alive. But it was gone. At first, I thought I'd accidentally archived it, searched it by name, checked muted conversations. Nothing. I tapped Zadie's contact, sent her a message. Did someone remove me from the group? The message turned blue. Delivered. Read. No reply. I didn't send a second one. They didn't remove me by mistake. They removed me because I didn't cry loud enough, because I didn't beg to stay. They decided my silence meant surrender. Fine. I stood up, walked to the pantry, and pulled open the cabinet door. The inside was still bare, but clean. I printed everything I had, screenshots, chat logs, bounced gift confirmations, removed account notices. Each one went up on the cabinet wall with painter's tape, Precise, straight lines. Evidence. I wasn't building a lawsuit. Not yet. I was building clarity. For the first time in my life, I was preparing not to be gaslit, not to be told I imagined it, not to be fed "you're too sensitive" or "you misread it." One day, someone's going to say I overreacted, and I'll hand them the file. Before I went to bed, I opened notes, typed a new entry. "You don't get to rewrite me. Not anymore." Saved it to a folder I named Inheritance. Then I walked into the nursery, kissed my daughter's forehead, and whispered, "If they ever try to say I was crazy, open the cabinet." I stopped asking for a seat at their table. I'm building my own, one receipt at a time. I didn't react the way I thought I would. The message came in while I was feeding her. The bottle tucked under my chin, one arm supporting her head, the other free enough to glance at my phone. It was from Delric. "She's always playing the victim. Don't feed into it, drama queen." It was meant for Zadie, sent to me by mistake. Deleted a few seconds later. But not before I screenshot it. Time-stamped. Saved. Even my grief had become a punchline. But this time, I didn't shake. I didn't cry. I was done being shocked. I sat there for another hour, feeding her, rocking her, humming something out of tune. Then I placed her down gently in her crib, picked up my phone, and typed one question. "Do you want to meet her?" I sent it to my mother. Simple, clean, no guilt, no begging. The reply came 2 minutes later, not from her directly, of course. Auto-reply. "Currently enjoying our Europe trip. Please email me when I return September 9. No follow-up, no voicemail. Not even a question mark. That was the last straw I never had to break. I went into my voicemail app, scrolled to the one I'd kept, the last one she ever left me before the pregnancy. She'd called about an old water bill I'd offered to help cover. Her voice in that message still held warmth, like she remembered I existed. I deleted it. Sometimes you have to grieve the living. A few days later, I had to meet a courier at my childhood home for legal paperwork regarding some outdated estate details. They were handling it, and I was just a name on a file. I stood in the foyer while he signed off documents. Mom wasn't home, or maybe she was, just hiding behind a door. As I waited, I glanced at the entryway drawer, the one that always held batteries, pens, random coupons. It was slightly open. Inside, I saw it. My handwriting. On an envelope. Slanted. Neat. The birthday card I had sent her last year. Unopened. Still sealed. I checked the postmark on the corner. It was mine. I didn't touch it. Didn't take it. Just looked at it long enough to feel the weight of what it meant. I had been sending love to a door no one ever planned to open. When the courier finished, I walked out without saying anything. I didn't need a confrontation. I didn't need her to explain. That night, I posted a photo, not on the main page, just on my private account. Me, holding the baby. My face turned away. In the corner of the frame, on purpose, was the bear. And on the table behind me, the card. Caption: unsent, unopened, unbothered. No tags, no hashtags, just silence. Within 20 minutes, DMs rolled in. "Is everything okay? Did something happen with your mom? Why are you posting stuff like that?" I replied to one of them, a cousin who hadn't spoken to me in over a year. "It's always been like this. You just never looked." I didn't respond to the others. Instead, I logged out, permanently. The next day, I changed my number. Sent a legal notice through my attorney, removing both parents from any future emergency contact or medical authorization. No arguments, no theatrics. I wasn't burning bridges. I was simply acknowledging they were never built for me. I placed the card back into my own drawer at home. Still unopened. The pen moved slow across the page. "To whoever thinks they knew me." That's how I started the letter. Not "Dear Mom," not "To the family," just whoever. Because I wasn't writing for them anymore. I was writing for the part of me that stayed quiet too long. I wrote about the silence, the days no one called, the messages that never came, the text that was sent to everyone but me, the money taken, the seats never saved, the baby never acknowledged. I wrote about the things they didn't do, and the things I finally did. Then I signed it, folded the letter once. I reached into the drawer and pulled out the birthday card, still sealed, still useless. I slipped the letter inside, sealed them both together, and tucked it into a manila folder I labeled Legacy. Not for them, for her. If I ever need my daughter to understand why we walked away, this will say it better than my anger ever could. That Sunday afternoon, I hosted something small at home. Just me, two friends, and the midwife who stayed longer than she had to. A welcome earthside blessing. We lit candles, said wishes out loud, wrote down notes for the future. One card read, "May you grow up knowing silence is not love." I folded that one gently and placed it into her memory box. Then I reached for the bear, brushed it clean, set it next to her crib. She doesn't need to inherit my ache, just my strength. Monday morning, 2 missed calls. Zadie first, then Dad. I watched the screen light up, watched the numbers flash and disappear. I didn't answer. Then I got a text from both. Nothing dramatic, just, "Can we talk?" I typed a line and sent it to both. It's done. I'm not angry anymore. I'm just not available. I blocked them. Not out of hate, out of peace. Forgiveness is not a welcome mat. Sometimes it's a locked door with no bitterness behind it. That night, I rocked her to sleep and whispered everything I never heard growing up. You don't have to prove you're worth staying for. You are not a burden to be tolerated. You're a person to be loved. No names, no family trees, just truths. Small ones, real ones. The kind that don't need an audience. I couldn't change how I was raised, but I can change what she remembers. I stood in the hallway a little after midnight, looked around the apartment, the crib, the houseplants, the soft light coming off the kitchen tile. Quiet, yes, but not lonely anymore. I took the birthday card out once more, held it in my hands for a moment, then placed it on the shelf beside the bear, still sealed, still unopened. They told me pain builds grit. They were wrong. Peace built me. And this time, I stayed.